Hey, what's up, guys? David Glenn of davidglennrecording.com and theproaudiofiles.com. Today, we are going to be taking a look at using synths, kind of a creative way to do that. I've got a Q&A from my friend Ron over at themixacademy.com. He's got a couple of questions for us, and we're going to dive right in. So without wasting any time, we're looking at question number 1 is, when do we use the pre button on the synths? For instance, when sending the signal to a reverb, should it be pre or post? Now, if you already know what pre or post is, stick around because I'm not just going to show that in action. I'm going to show a little bit of a tip on how I'm using synths sometimes to get some effects out of things like reverb. So this first thing we're going to look at here, we've got some guitars that are just clean, but let me solo these. You can hear these. Okay, so practically untouched at the moment. And I like them left and right. They're just doubled guitars, but I've got a couple of ideas for them that'll help address Ronnie's question as well. So I'm going to send these to a new track so that they go together, so a new stereo aux, and I'm going to call them AM guitars for ambient. And I'm going to create a sweet effect here. So we've got those going together now. You can see they're both going to ambient guitars, and in my template, I have to route that to all music. Go ahead and knock that out. And then what I'm going to do is, instead of using the processing for both of these, let's see, I think it was just filtering. I'm going to bypass that, get rid of it, and I'm going to throw the same processing, but on the aux. And then I can control them together. So maybe take a little bit of the mud out. Let's come over here, mud sub, virtual mix rack. And I'm going to throw the VCC on it. And a little noise reduction there, okay? Next up, I'm going to send this. Now in my template mix session that members of the mixacademy.com get access to, I've got a ginormous hall setting. So I'm going to take and send these ambient guitars to my Gino hall, as my wife texts me in the middle of a video. Sorry, guys. Gino hall. Okay, so there we go. And then we're going to look at the pre-fader here in a second. But for now, what I want to do, I want to bring these up to volume. And then now this is the level to control them. So let's take a listen to those guitars again. And then if I send into that Gino hall, it sounds like this. Okay, so it's got a sweet sound to it. And the cool thing about that Gino hall, I'll pull it down here, give a shout out. I believe I actually learned that Gino hall trick from, call it a trick, but setting from Ken Lewis. So props to him for helping people learn how to make better music. We've got Gino Hall Lexicon 224. And the cool thing about this is it's got a modulation setting. So there's a pitch shift as the tone decays. It does a kind of a chorusing thing. So it sounds really, really sweet. And one of my favorite guitar pedals, some of you guys know I used to lead worship a lot and play guitar at church, was the Boss, I think it's RV5. And it has a modulated reverb setting. And picked that up from the guitar player from Chris Tomlin. He used to do some blogging, and I think that may have single-handedly established some of the ambient sounds in Christian and CCM music. But anyways, I dig that tone. I love the sound of it, and that's kind of a recreation of it. Maybe even sounds better, but not to blab about that too much. What I've got here is the opportunity now to experiment with whether or not I want those clean guitars in the mix, or if I just want to send it to the reverb and let it be ambience from this particular instrument. So let's experiment now. So in the mix, let's pull that open and let's hear those clean guitars. So we've got, it sounds like a piano is doing something similar. So what I'm thinking for this, just kind of experimenting, is I'm going to drop the volume all the way down to 0, and I'm going to pull the send up. So let's take a listen. If we solo, what happens? We get nothing, right? Well, that's because the pre and post fader simply means that if we're sending into an effect and we have nothing here on our actual track, then we're not sending anything to the effects. This is post fader. So when we click pre-fader, I'm doing a horrible job explaining this, forgive me guys, but if we go pre-fader, Now, even if this is set to 0, we can send signal from this guitar. So what that allows us to do is send the signal from these guitars or vocal or drums or whatever to these effects without the dry signal in at all. You can kind of create a cool effect from that. So let's take a listen in the mix, what it sounds like without the dry signal, but just the ambiance. Okay, so that sounds pretty cool. Now we can always bring in the dry signal, but now that dry signal is not going to be affecting how much we send to that reverb. That is completely controlled by this. So if we pull this up, so you get the point. You can affect the dry signal in context of the mix independent of the effect. So I hope that explains pre and post fader a little bit for you, Ron. And then for you guys experimenting, I do this a lot with pads, where I'll have the pad volume completely down and only send the pad to an effect like a reverb or super long decaying delay or something fun like that. All kinds of experiments that you can do with it. And there you go. So I hope you dig that. Ron, thanks for the question. We've got his second part coming in another video, so stay tuned for that. Thanks, guys.